What it do? It is me, that wrestling dude, and we got a bona fide legend here with us today. Supermex himself, Hernandez. Man, welcome, welcome, welcome. Appreciate you coming on.
What's going on, brother? If I knew that I needed some cool sunglasses like you, I would rethought my process here.
You got way more style than I do, so you're good to go.
You got the hair. I have had hair probably about 25 years, brother.
That's what my wife keeps telling me to cut it, but I'm like, I can't. All the people out there that have gone bald, like, I got to rock it for them.
Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it.
So let's get into it, man. Who trained you? How long you been going at it, and where you based out of?
Well, I live in San Antonio, Texas now. I'm from Houston. I got trained by Tugboat Taylor in the late 90s, probably 97. And just pushed my wares, trying to get my name out there and stuff. I haven't, around 2000, I started getting dark matches and started going to different trials for like WWE, Mexico, Puerto Rico, England, and Japan. And it worked out okay. Looking back on it now, you need a mentor. Yeah. Someone that can guide you through the process. So from the time I had my first trial in 2000, I didn't have a full-time contract until 2006 because I didn't know what I was doing. I thought like these kids now, they think they know what's going on and they don't know what's going on. I was that kid too.
Okay.
That's what I try to preach to my students. If you don't know, don't guess. Please just ask. Otherwise, you're going to spin your wheels and no one cares because there's millions and millions of choices for guys to be on television. They're not going to wait on you.
Yeah. But I think that's what the old saying goes: the youth is wasted, or your youth is wasted on the what's the saying? Young people are stupid, basically.
I was that kid. And, everyone says, "Oh, I got everything. I got it. Yeah, I know. Guess what? I'm telling you now, 28 years later, I did not know.
Yeah.
I did not know probably until about 2010. And I was on TNA from 03 to 2010.
Yeah.
So I did not know.
Yeah. So you're born and raised in Texas. So you grew up like during the Von Erichs and the Freebirds, like watching them in their prime then.
Well, my father was a Green Beret for 30 years. So we retired here to Texas. I think I was in 8th or 9th grade.
Yeah.
And then, so basically, yes, it was all about Sam Houston Coliseum Wrestling, Paul Bosch, Houston Wrestling. Of course, the Von Erichs are huge in Dallas, but, you always give, home field advantage to Houston Wrestling.
Okay.
That's where, I saw Dr. Dev Steve Williams for the first time, all the Guerreros, Wahoo McDaniel, you name it, those guys came through. It was awesome.
So Gino Hernandez as well, right?
Yes, sir.
So what's your thought? You think he was killed or he OD'd?
I'm not, bro. I don't deal with the cartel stuff. I don't do that.
No comment, right?
My last name is Hernandez, bro. I live in South Texas. I don't. So I just draw your conclusions from that.
Yeah, say less. So like you're a football guy, right? Did you play in college?
Yes, sir. I played high school, 2 years in college, 2 years. 2 years in junior college in Kilgore College, and 2 years at A&M in Kingsville. Then I played 2 years arena football for the Houston Thunder Bears.
Okay.
In the arena football league, but I wasn't making no money, so it was paying $500 a game, not a week, a game, and you had to be on the team for 22 weeks, and there was only 14 games. So it was 8 weeks you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
So they got you a job. You would go to practice from like 8 to 12, eat lunch, and then if you wanted to make money, which everyone did, you worked at a warehouse from like 2 to 10. Then you worked out with weights, you go to bed to do it all over again. And then once I realized, man, this sucks.
Yeah.
How much if I just do the warehouse job? And I quit. There's no way, bro. There's no way. And that killed that dream real quick.
Is that arena football? Is that easier to play because the field's like half the size, or?
Well, they play inside the basketball stadiums.
Yeah.
And well, not really, because the out of bounds is like this. So if you're trying to turn the corner, you better hope you have that speed, or you're gonna get killed.
Okay.
Straight into that wall.
Yeah, because there's no sidelines, just straight into the wall, like hockey. It's kind of like hockey in a sense.
Yes, they bring it out to the hockey measurements. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. So how'd you make the decision going into wrestling then from playing football?
Bro, I need some money.
Money.
Everyone has their dreams. I need money, man. I mean, I had a kid. I was married at the time. I quit football because it was a pain. So I got into a better one. I started doing powerlifting, which pays even less. It pays trophies.
Yeah.
So that was a great, mind think right there. So I'm at the gym working out, and Dutch Mantel and JBL came in the gym because WWF was in town at the time. And they goes, "Hey, you look like one of those Steiners." I go, "Sir, I'm broke. Please help me be one of those Steiners."
Yeah.
And he handed me a card to Tugboat Taylor, and that's how I got started. I started that very next week.
So you had no inclination of doing it, or it was just a happenstance they were in there and they said,
I wanted to do it ever since I was, say 10, 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But, I have a strict military household. You got to go to college first.
Okay.
I want to do this, maybe I knew I wanted to do this probably when I was 15 years old. But you got, parents are very lenient now, and I'm one of those lenient parents. You do what your mom said.
Yeah.
I remember when I graduated high school, my senior year, and my kids think this is like a caveman story. I go, every day of my senior year, my dad put a pamphlet for the selective services. Because he said, once you graduate high school, if you don't get a scholarship within 6 months, you're going to the military. You ain't staying in my house.
Yeah.
And these kids look at it like it's a World War II story.
Yeah.
So luckily I got a scholarship, so I didn't have to go to the military. But yeah, it was different time, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I kind of get it too because I'm Puerto Rican and I graduated college when I was 34, and that was only because my parents are nonstop like, "When you going back? When you going back? When you going back? When you going back?" That's good though. What I want to know is like you did a tour of Japan early on. Sakai no pro wrestling as a double Iron Sheik #2. Like I'm dying to know what the hell the story behind that is.
Well, it gets worse. I went, Wally Yamaguchi, he was in Kaientai in the 90s. He was the manager for Takamichinoku and Funaki.
Yeah, Kaientai. He's the guy for the guys that don't know. He's the one with the sword that says "Choppy, choppy, if you beat about Venus." Yeah.
Dude, that guy's, "Hey man, you like Japan wrestling?" I go, "Yes, sir, I love it. I want to get paid." He goes, "Well, come do this tryout for All Japan first." Okay. He said, I go, "Well, how much?" He goes, "Well, $1,500. Okay, cool. Oh, but it's a shoot fight. Well, this is 99, 2000. I had no idea what shoot fight meant at all. So basically, it was the beginning of their Pride and their K1 stuff.
Yeah.
So I go there, and I fly there, not knowing nothing was going on. I go to the dojo because they have you see what you can do the day before, and then the next day is the show. I'm in the ring, hitting the ropes, think I'm in a wrestling match. All of a sudden, here comes the trainer in, and everyone stops laughing and gets all serious. So I go, okay, all right. I found out right in the first 15 minutes that this was, you gonna get your ass kicked or you gonna kick that guy's ass.
Okay.
And I'm just like shook. I'm like, I flew 12 hours and had no clue. Yeah. All I heard was $15. So they're showing shoot style wrestling and stuff like that. And I had still no clue what I'm doing. And I'm 6'2", 305. I'm benching 550, squatting like 808.
Yeah.
And still dunking the basketball. So, if I had any training, I could have probably been good. Anyway, so we do the match the next day. 30 minutes, no rounds.
Damn.
30 minutes, man. It got to the point where I couldn't even put my hands up to block anything. So I'm just throwing this guy like suplexes and power bombs and spears, open hand punches and stuff like that. Finally, he kept kicking me in the shoulder, and finally he kicked me in the head. I said, man, I don't want to get up. So 28, just under 29 minutes.
That's wild.
And they gave me an $800 bonus for that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. And guess who the coach was? The guy who I had no clue was going to happen.
Who?
The legendary Fujiwara, the guy who made the Fujiwara armbar.
Yeah.
So I'm like the most naive jackass. I feel, at the time I felt stupid as hell. Here's this legend teaching me how to shoot.
Yeah.
And I'm just oblivious.
Yeah.
Reminds me of my students sometimes, man.
That's wild too, because I wrestled in high school and 3 2-minute rounds. By the end of that 6 minutes, like you're dying. I couldn't imagine 30 minutes of going at it like nonstop like that.
Yep. I made it.
Yeah, you made it. So did they hand you like a turban and said you're gonna be the Iron Sheik, or was it one of those deals?
I met Casey Geyer. He was one of the guys on that shoot tour.
Mm-hmm.
And Wally said, "Hey, y'all look similar. Y'all kind of look like the Iron Sheik. Hey, if we put you as the Iron Sheik's nephews, could you do it?" I go, "Are you paying me?" Like, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. So we went. He made us do another try, but it was wrestling, an independent wrestling tour as a double Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
It was brutal, man. Because in All Japan at the time was so strict traditional wrestling, and no one had gimmicks back then. I mean, we had, Stan Hansen did his stuff, and Brody did his stuff, but not with turbans. Man, I mean, people were just laughing as soon as we walked in the ring. So I couldn't wait to get to the ring to tear them things off and get to wrestling. It was brutal. I mean, here's a fun one for you. The original name of the border toss in Japan is the camel drop. Okay. Because I threw my camel.
How'd you like Japan?
Oh, it was great. I lost weight.
Yeah, I bet.
On the All Japan tours, you're there for like 6 weeks, and my first tour that I went from 305 about 285.
Okay.
Everybody went, in America, we're catered to. AC, too lazy to go far, so you get in a car. Now you're walking a lot in Japan, and it was summertime, so at least I got a tan. But I came back with abs. It was good.
Nice. Let's see. Hot Stuff Hernandez. Did you wear any ridiculous outfits for that?
Oh man. Okay, before we get into this, let me get this straight. It was in the 90s.
Yep.
And it was North Houston, a small like redneck town.
Mm-hmm.
And it was we wrestled in the bingo hall. And everyone would pregame there, because you could drink at the bingo hall, and everyone would pregame to go to their, dance clubs afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, there was only 2 guys that could take the shirt off. And so one was like 170 pounds. Yeah. And then here's a 300-pound dude. Not only was I coerced, not too much coerced, I guess you had to twist my arm that much because I was getting paid.
Yeah.
But neon green, neon orange, booty shorts with a little choker like Bagwell,
Yeah.
Man, it was brutal. Look at the time, bro. I mean, I'm selling Polaroid pictures in the ring all the time. So I wasn't thinking about. I wasn't thinking about it in my older years. But man, when my students, like they come over and we watch YouTube and they want to watch stuff I did at their level, and I just cringe for the whole time. Why would you think that would be cool to wear that?
Those are the times.
Neon orange, neon green, the arm straps, the neck. Oh man.
Did you dance or no?
Oh, bro, I came up with hot stuff. Bro,
I'm gonna have to go Google that later and check it out.
Just don't do it on air. We're not in the same city, and I'm already blushing. How cringe that was from '99. That was
different times back then. That's what I grew up to those eras too. So I remember.
I was trying, man.
Yeah. You mentioned you're in some dark matches for WWE. I saw an interview from you did like 2 years ago where like, and correct me if I'm wrong, like you didn't even really want to do it, but you kind of did it for the money kind of deal. Like you're more interested of like seeing the world instead of being with them, right?
No, that's what led to my first divorce, bro. My first wife wanted me in fucking WWE.
Yeah.
Because that's all the money's at. At least in your mind, that's where all the money's at. Man, I wanted to be like my father because he was in the Green Beret. He got to see the whole world. I want to see the whole world without having to kill no one.
Yeah.
So I want to go to India, Germany, England, Puerto Rico, all this, and I was getting a little bit a name and especially I was all Japan because and Wally Yamaguchi still had loose ties with WWE or WWF at the time, and they called me, hey. We're going to be in Houston. You want to do a dark match? I go, sure. Oh, he pays $250. All right, cool. I'm there.
Yep.
And it was different time, way different time. So now the guys know, excuse me, like when you go to trials for WWE, they know how good you are, how good you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, they had no clue because the internet still wasn't as powerful.
Yeah.
What they would do was they'd have two or three guys that had to have like heat or main event or just a dark match before Raw. They would stand all the extras like me in a row like a single file line, and the guys pick who they work just off their looks. Just off their looks.
That's wild.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Because imagine you picked the wrong guy and you went over with a stinker.
Yes. So, how I got the funny story. How I got the Crash Holly dark match. Oh, he was the last guy to get choices to pick guys for the matches, right? So it was down to me or Necro Butcher.
Okay.
You know Necro Butcher, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So Dylan, when he had hair on, that was the only two choices.
Yeah.
So of course he's gonna pick me.
Crash was super heavyweight anyway, so he had to pick another heavyweight to go up against.
Oh man, I can't say but great things about his work and how he treated me because he was super cool. He kept the match super easy. The people were into it, and first time in front of like 20,000 American people, it was awesome. Yeah.
Looking back now, should you have stayed with them? Should you have had an opportunity to go with them?
I don't like to do that kind of stuff because what if you hurt there? What if?
Yeah.
So what if you got set with a bad gimmick or you had a bad attitude and you got fired in the first year?
Yeah.
The weather parts I'm not into.
All right, that's a good way to live, man. Don't look back.
You can't. I mean,
that's true. You can't.
Obviously, when I came to Texas, I had an opportunity to do dark shows all the time. I had an opportunity to wrestle in Puerto Rico, which had a nice pipeline. IWA had a nice pipeline. WWE at the time. Could I have been a bigger star? Maybe, or maybe I would have been, one of the bigger guys they have that they push for like 6 months and they get rid of.
Yeah.
So
no, it's true because it is a crapshoot. Because you see a lot of guys that go through there, you think they're going to be huge, and from one reason or another, they don't. 6 months to a year and they're gone again.
How much they push like guys like Sean O'Hare back then.
Mm-hmm.
Even Jindrak, who's awesome in Mexico.
Yeah.
And they were awesome in WCW. Both those guys got lost in shuffle.
Yeah.
Way tall, mean, lean physiques, could do all that crazy stuff, and they found a way to just grind them out.
Yeah. Your first run with TNA was in 04, and that was like towards the end of them being done with the Asylum in Nashville and the start of Universal Studios. Which venue did you like better?
Universal Studios, of course.
Okay.
Because
you didn't like going to the flea market?
No, we did the
It's the fairgrounds, right?
Fairgrounds, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was weird. I mean, it was like it didn't feel professional.
Yeah.
At least the Orlando Studios looked the inside looked professional. And then when it wasn't, when you had, like, say you just had to do like promos that day, you just go under the fence and you could ride all the rides for free.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay. I didn't even think about that because I know they let all the people in from Universal, and I didn't know they let you guys out into the parks.
No, we had to go back through security, so you weren't allowed to go to where the paying fans were. So, but they had this one little area where you could just like scoot by.
Yeah.
And everyone was on. If you have matches that day, you're on the rides.
Yeah. See, 2005, you had a bunch of 6-man tag matches in Mexico. Did you find those hard to work? Because I mean, when you watch them, there's like no tags. It's action nonstop. Everyone jumping in and out at the same time. It's like I would imagine it's kind of hard to keep track of where you're at and where you're supposed to be at.
I love lucha wrestling. I started doing it, like I said, 2002. The toughest part for myself is I speak Tex-Mex, Spanglish.
Yeah.
Mexico is straight Spanish.
Yeah.
So there's no chance to ad-lib. There's no chance to audible. There's no chance to do nothing. So when I'm doing a 6-man at the time, I've got to memorize my part and the other 5 guys' part to know when to go. So it was, thank God, I did it. I can memorize. Okay, it's in his spot. Okay, his spot. But it was brutal for me. Luckily, when I went to Mexico in 2010, I humbled myself and went to school for like 3 weeks to be able to speak
real Spanish.
Conversation Mexico City Spanish.
Yeah.
And that was such a blessing. I was smart to do that.
Yeah. No, I get you because I'm Puerto Rican, so we speak that ghetto ass Spanish too. And like I remember I took Spanish in high school, got a C, and I'm like autobus. What's an autobus? It's a wagua. Like, what do you hamburguesa? It's a hamburger. What do you mean? What's a hamburguesa?
No, when I wrestled in Puerto Rico, they were brutal to me too, man.
Yeah.
I remember I wrestled for IWA, and I went to a Subway to get a sandwich. This lady was watching the novella, and so she was disinterested in me being in there anyway. I go in there, order my Italian BMT, extra meat, all this. She just looked at me like I was stupid and went back in there and watched the show. I thought she was on break or something. I didn't know what the hell happened. Like 10, 15 minutes later, this family of 4 comes in, does their perfect order in Spanish, and she starts working on theirs. And I'm just like I'm a dumbass. So I just walk across the street and go to Sizzler, man. I go, I've always had, language barrier problems when I'm wrestling in Puerto Rico, man. Yeah. I think they did it on purpose.
No, same thing because they have different words for different things. So it's like you say one thing, it means it's something completely different.
Yep.
Yeah. How were those Puerto Rican crowds? Were they still crazy back then?
Yeah, brother, this is early 2000s, of course.
Yeah.
So
you had batteries and rocks thrown at you?
Yeah. And the baseball stadiums when you're coming out of the dugout, there's people on top of the dugout. Their seats.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a heel, you better do a little scoot fast because they're going to piss in their cup and then try to put it in your head. and people, like, there's no way. I go, yes, there's way.
Yeah.
And But that's what made it so fun because those people really, really got into it, especially like the crowds in Mexico. They get into it really, really big.
Those guys got to make it easier for you, right?
Most definitely. If you all you have to do is if you know how to work if you have the gimmick, you know how to work your gimmick, or you know how to be a heel, you're gonna love it, and you're gonna be coming back and making money.
Yeah, because I know it's like some of those TNA crowds were rough that way. Because I used to go to the shows, and half the crowd is like real fans, and half the crowd are just people trying to get out of that heat for like an hour in the AC.
They're waiting for us to say, "Who wants another T-shirt?" That's what was brutal.
Yeah.
When the crowds in the crowds at Universal, when you could tell, like maybe the first 2 rows were wrestling fans, and then like the 3 or 4 rows behind them were like, "Thank God I get some AC for a while." But they didn't realize they got trapped. Because they only can leave in 15-minute intervals.
Yeah.
So they're like wrestling, or they're not into it, and they're trying to leave, and they're insisting on leaving, so they can't force you to stay in there. That's when Borash would come out there. Who's ready for some teenage T-shirts? Who's the teenage gift bag? Just so people would settle down and in an extra 5-10 minutes, so they can get the new herd that brought in.
Yeah, no, because it's funny because if you really look at those tapes and you look, like you said, like the first 3 rows, like diehard wrestling fans, and like the higher you go, it's more and more tourists, like the British people that beat red that are just you can tell they're sweating all day,
waiting for a free T-shirt, or waiting for that 15-minute mark to come so they can leave.
All right, LAX, we got to talk about that. To me, that was the first like cool Hispanic group because before that, I mean, we had Los Boricuas before that, but they kind of turned out like they try to make a more what a gimmick yet towards the end of it. But LAX, man, real cool ass group. How'd that come about? That first incarnation with you, Homicide, and Conan. Like, did they bring you in specifically for LAX?
Well, I was the 3rd choice to be my character.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because originally it was Apollo from Puerto Rico.
That's right.
And then Homicide and Conan. Apollo was having problems getting flights from Puerto Rico to Orlando, which was probably 9 to 12 a day.
Yeah.
So that's
what I was just thinking. Like, there's every airline goes there.
And I don't like to say people's business, but there's obviously reasons why he could not make 9 to 12 flights a day.
Yeah.
There's something going on in his personal life. Maybe he could not make.
Yeah.
That's not my story to tell. So, I mean, maybe ask him, but you can use your imagination to figure it out.
Yeah.
So he wasn't making his flights. That I don't care what anyone says. That's TNA was Nashville bound, and they wanted their versions of what they wanted to see other minorities to be.
Mm-hmm.
So the only criteria, so when they decided to let go Apollo go was we need a big Hispanic.
Yeah.
That can wrestle or can quasi wrestle. That was it. That was it. So if you need that, you got Apollo, you got me. And at that time, that's pretty much it. So I was wrestling in Mexico and they called me and go, "Hey, why don't you come back?" I go, "No, man, y'all did me dirty last time.
Yeah.
But we got money now, and we can pay better or stuff like that." I go, "No, I got a mask. I'm chilling. I'm doing 6-mans. I can do this next 30 years."
Yeah.
Just like when you were in high school and that crack dealer comes by and says, "Hey, man, just try one time."
Yeah.
Like free flight to Orlando. Guaranteed $400 or $500. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
So I went, and as soon as I got there, they closed that door. they talked me to death till I signed.
Yeah.
And that was it. That
After
was
the races.
It. Yeah, and then of course, Conan's super established from all his years in AAA. And CMLL and WCW. Homicide was the man in Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Here's this big dude that no one knows who the hell he is.
Yeah.
And they were at the time they were fed up with the group because the missed opportunities with Apollo, so they put us in that corner by the Spanish announce table that we ain't go, that we're not going to wrestle because we're discriminated against. That was their plan, to hope that people would care and we'd have matches. Yeah. And we finally got, we very rarely wrestled. Very rarely wrestled. I go, man, I gave them, my Mexico spot for this, because they could fire me any day because it's not working. And then finally, the TNA they had a pay-per-view, and they had Ron Killings and Sanjay Dutt in the pay-per-view, and they didn't want them to wrestle each other because they were babyface. So they went to Conan, hey, can Hamza and that big guy do this? And I don't know what he said, but we got the match. And we tore the house down in that first match. We, actually getting to do all our stuff. Me and Homicide versus Sanjay and Ron. The people loved it. And that's how the Rocket started right there. Conan's words always influence the crowd, good or bad.
Yeah.
But now that he got someone, now he's got a group that's cohesive enough to match his words. We took off like a rocket ship, man.
It's good. Take advantage of that one opportunity. That's what people don't understand. Sometimes you get that one shot to kind of like turn the whole direction of what you're doing.
I'm telling you, man, I thought we was having a one-way ticket back to Mexico, bro.
That first year as LAX, man, you guys faced a lot of good people, man. AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, American Most Wanted, Low-Key, Skeeper, on and on and on and on. Were you ready at that point to be in the ring with those guys? I mean, I know they were younger, but they're still putting on killer matches back then.
Brother, my only goal was not to be the weak link in the match.
Okay.
I mean, everyone talks about they're this, they can do that, they're ready for matches, they're ready for the big time. No, you're not. No, you're not. When you have to have time cues, and everyone has to be down to the second for matches. These young kids are not ready, because I know I wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I wasn't ready to wrestle, or where I'm confident enough to wrestle without a lot of talking and helping from my partner.
Yeah.
2010, bro, 4 years to get that point. So, my whole goal was to not be the weak link and not to be the reason why that match sucked. Yeah. And I lucked out a lot. But I also had a great teacher, because Homicide quarterbacks 99.9% of all our matches. So, a lot of my success goes to him, because he could have said, hey, just do what you want. When you're in the ring, do what you want.
Yeah.
And it'd been hit or miss. But okay, we're a team, we're a cohesive team, we're a big man, little man team. All right, let's make this work. And to be honest, I humbled myself, because if I didn't listen to him, I don't think it would have worked.
Yeah. Who do you think you had the best matches with? Who's your best rivalry in TNA with Homicide? Man, I think you faced a lot of good teams.
I'll take us against anybody, man. I mean, in that time, anybody. I mean, we did really good with AJ and Daniels. I really liked wrestling us versus 3D, because it was very harder, because I'm big as them, but Homicide isn't. But he's one of those smaller guys that he can make it believable that for that small period of time he can hang with a 300-pound guy.
Yeah,
that's that aura about him that, hey, this is not the guy you want to mess with. And I mean, those matches were really good, and we had to learn a lot from each other, especially from 3D, because 3D is not going to let you come in there and just throw your weight around and say what you're going to do, regardless if you're the champ. And so every time we wrestled 3D, we earned our money. Yeah. Yeah. We earned money because they made us earn every offensive move, man.
Yeah. Were you shocked when they showed up to TNA? Because I mean, I was shocked when they were let go by WWE or not re-signed or whatever.
After,
because that was a big get for them. Because they're to me like my generation is the best tag team in my eyes. Like I know people say Legion of Doom, but I only saw Legion of Doom towards the end of the career. But to me, Dudley Boys are like number one most decorated tag team ever.
Yeah. Well, you got to realize, Christian Cage came. We saw Scott Hall, Kevin Nash,
Kurt Angle.
That was the biggest surprise with Kurt Angle for everyone. That was the biggest surprise. And the fact that Kurt was one of the not big league people and actually worked with everyone that he had matches was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, someone that stature still want to work with, even though we're TNA superstars, we're nothing compared to where WWE was at the time.
Yeah.
He was a great, great big, and also with Sting as well, a big shot in the arm for TNA.
Yeah. Why do you think you never got a run as world champ in TNA? Because at one point, I want to say 06, 07, 08, it felt like you were like about to be the next big shit there. You know what I mean?
Well, it could be anything. I know what it is, and what I feel it is. But I mean, you have Dixie Carr, the owner, pushing for me to be the top guy. Then you have Vince Russo and Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette was 100% down with me being the heavyweight guy. And Dixie, that was it. No one else was on board with it. Vince Russo always played it smart. He made sure that if you were a WWE guy, you were the main event for pay-per-views because that's what he thought sold tickets.
Yeah.
And maybe right, maybe he's not. But that was his game plan. So if you notice, how many guys besides AJ and Samoa Joe during that time was it that a TNA guy wasn't the main event for pay-per-view?
No, it's true.
That was it.
Yeah.
Everyone else either WWE guy or WCW guy. And I think that honestly they didn't have Dixie. Dixie wanted me to be the champion, and she didn't want. I guess she's the owner, so she wanted to push it.
Yeah.
That hey, this has to happen, and they found ways around to get it another way. So, I could have been a one-time heavyweight champion, or I'm a 7-time tag champion, so I'm good. 7-time tag is good for me, man.
You did good. You did good.
I'm not greedy at all. I promise.
Yeah, you did good. You did good. Out of all those legends that shared the locker room with, man, who gave you who did you learn most from?
Everyone I wrestled, they all were helpful. Everyone from Ken Anderson, Christian Cage, Dudley Boys were super helpful. Kurt Angle, the man, Sting, the man, all those guys I got to wrestle, but there's not one guy there from WWE that refused to help you. And at least at that time, every match I had with those guys, at least helped.
Yeah,
they could have just buried. They could do what you want, and then make you look like shit on TV.
Yeah.
But they were all super cool. They're all very cohesive in the back. Now, maybe they don't like me or do like me, who cares? But for that 8 to 10 minute time, they did well for me.
All right. You LAX or Mexicana America? You got a preference over one over the other? Or?
Oh man, LAX was everything. I mean, if everything I dreamt it would be, you got to realize, you're Latino as well, bro. We had no heroes. We had no heroes in wrestling.
We did.
Yes, we had Vasquez. Yes, we had Pedro Morales. Yes, we had Tito Santana. But they were, Pedro and Tito were cartoons. They were made into cartoons. We didn't get to see them all the time. So the only time we got to see somebody cool that could be kind of like us was Conan.
Yep.
And then you get 3. And now you don't get where Conan was just doing like catchphrases and having 2-3 minute matches. Now you get us as champions. Now you get us on all the posters. Now you get us on the opening credits. Now you get us as the top T-shirt sellers. At the time when we first started doing LAX in 06, we had a strict order from everyone in the back. When you go to that ring, good guy or bad guy, you don't shake one white person's hand. You don't slap one white dude's hand.
Yeah.
You go straight to that Rio. If they're a person of color, yes. Give them a high five. But if there are how many little white kids in that crowd like this? that look cameras walk by. And if you did that mindset, it worked because 6 months later, every person, white, black, purple, green, or any color, was wearing an LAX T-shirt doing this.
Yeah,
everyone was.
I always thought that too. It's like some of the best people, they always start off like that, like super heels, and then they get over that way.
I think I honestly think that's the old school way. I think that's the best way.
Yeah,
because you know how to work the crowd.
Yeah. How'd you like that 6-sided ring? Because I mean, you did a little bit in Mexico too. Like, you prefer that to a four-side, or?
I'm old school dude. Whatever pays me.
Okay, fair enough.
Remember, I gotta tell everyone, and especially a lot of my students too. I go, man, I'm 52 now, and I'm still wrestling. I've always think of if I don't make this match good, I'm gonna go back to making $8 an hour loading trucks.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to put my best foot forward, super focused, and trying to make things work. Because I have that mindset, man. If you screw up, you're going back to unloading trucks.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a weird mindset, but it's helped me for the last 25 years.
No, and I have employees at work. I'm a manager, so I tell them the same kind of deal. I'm like, it's obvious you guys never worked a shitty job, because if you worked a shitty job, then like I bust tables, I deliver pizzas, I've done all those shitty jobs, pushed old people in wheelchairs, hoping for tips. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go back to that, so I put that effort in every single day, and I always tell the people, like, you can tell you never really had a shitty job, because if you did, you'd be putting in 150% effort in every day.
Those guys are guys that can rely on their mommy and daddy. You lost your job. You lost your job at Cheddar's. Okay, well, hey, here's $100. Don't pay me. When you stay with me, you live at home, so you don't have to pay rent.
Yeah.
And we'll pay for your cell bill today.
You during your time at TNA, you had a lot of people go through there. From Jeff Jarrett to Vince Russo to Jim Cornette, Dixie, Eric Bischoff. Who ran it the best, you think?
Well, Jeff and Dutch. But then Jeff had that thing with Kurt's wife, and then
yeah, they pushed him out.
I don't tell people's business. I mean, but it's out there. It's out there.
Yeah.
Jeff, 06. Let's go back to the timeline. 06, they finally broke even after 4 years of loss. 07, coming up 08, 09. Bro, they're rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Imagine. I don't want to say this, but imagine if the Angles stayed in a different hotel or stayed or left early, because between Jeff and Dutch, that stuff was skyrocketing, man.
Yeah. No, I know there's a period there where you seriously thought like they're going after WWE, because that during that same time WWE's going downhill because WCW closed, ECW closed, all the competition was gone, so they were heading down direction.
Because you had Jeff and Vince, and then Dutch was helping Jeff. Brother, that we're drawing 1-1s, 1-2s.
Yeah.
I don't watch wrestling that much now because it's not the same. So, but I don't think AEW comes close to that.
Yeah.
a million viewers guaranteed all the time. So that people want to talk bad about Jeff or bad about Dutch or bad about Russo. Russo was drawing over ones all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm a Cornette guy, you know what I'm saying? and I'm willing to concede that hey, he did that.
Yeah. Why do you think it's so hard to create a Hispanic superstar? Like I don't think we've seen one since, like Eddie Guerrero, I think was the last one. I mean, Rey Mysterio is, but I think Rey Mysterio is a little bit different in terms of he's more of a superhero in my eyes. Like Eddie Guerrero was real deal Latino heat, man. Like why do you think that it's hard to create a superstar that's Hispanic?
You need, in my mind, you need a border guy, a guy from L.A., San Diego, someone who goes back and forth from Mexico to the United States, because that's the only way it's going to work. But then, let's be realistic. In my heritage and your heritage, how many 6'2", 250-pound guys that are like us?
Yeah.
There's not none.
Yeah.
So I think, if you get, say, a border guy from Houston, San Antonio, young guy under 30, LA, San Diego, about 6'2", 220, and he speaks in Spanglish, so he can influence the Spanish audience and the English audience, because when TNA comes through Texas, and when I'm there, and then when my students go to their shows in San Antonio, here in El Paso, every Hispanic is there for meet and greets. They're willing to buy. They want to buy T-shirts. They're willing to buy merch. They're willing to buy the best tickets. So you get you a nice Southwest guy, you're gonna make gold, because that's how Eddie was made.
Yeah.
You have to be able to spend time in Mexico. You don't have to wrestle there full time. But Eddie went there. I went there.
Yeah.
It's so much easier just to know. Just look how big Univision is.
Yeah.
This bigger than all our NBCs, ABC, and CBS combined.
Mm-hmm.
You get a border boy that can speak Spanglish, that's under 30, you're gonna print money.
Yeah. I don't know what they're waiting on. It doesn't sound so complicated at all, but they make it seem like it's impossible.
I just think right now that people go for whatever's in style. Oh, well, we need more black wrestler, or we need another trans wrestler, or this. That's cool, because we all need something different.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to make money, there's thousands, millions of Mexicans waiting for that superstar.
Yeah.
To buy their stuff. And the whole island of Puerto Rico is waiting for them.
Yeah.
That's guys girls and families who want to spend money not only on the show, but buying their merch.
Yeah.
Buying the meet and greets. One of my guys that I help in San Antonio, he's the promoter for AWR. I got him in with TNA. He's the head of merch now. And El Paso, for the Hardings in El Paso, I'm sure you've been in El Paso. El Paso sucks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to live there. But guess when the Hardings were doing the meet and greet? 2 a.m. The show's over like 10.
Yeah.
That shows you how great the TNA's packing the buildings down here, and that shows you that these Mexicans are going to buy money. They're going to buy your product, just for the meet and greet, not just T-shirts. The Hardys had to stay till 2 a.m. for 4 hours after the show.
Yeah. Now the business is there, the money's there for the taking.
They have to, some big company, WB. I mean, you're the biggest company in the world. You have to figure that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to figure that out.
Yeah. You belong in the TNA Hall of Fame, right? You're the biggest Hispanic star TNA ever had. I mean, I was trying to think about that earlier. Like, who was bigger than you, like, for a longer period of time in TNA too, as Hispanic?
I'm,
I can't.
well, for myself, I've always been a team guy because my dad was in the military all the time. So there's not a lot of big Hispanics on military base, playing basketball or when I went to school. So, the whites hanging over here, blacks hanging over here. So I'm just looking for a friend.
Yeah.
So in wrestling, the same thing. I'm super happy to be part of the team. LAX, to a lesser extent, Mexican America, the Matt Morgans and stuff, and me and Chavo, great, loved having worked with him. If I can go with LAX or go with like Chavo, cool.
Yeah.
Solo, I don't care.
Okay.
It's not about me. I think it would be a big, huge injection for the Hispanic culture if LAX did go, because people forget we were with Conan for only 1 year. We were with me and Homicide together was only together for 3 years, and look how much impact we made in just those 3 years.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Just whether it's T-shirt sales, meet and greets. Imagine us, two Hispanic dudes, doing meet and greets in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Doing meet and greets in the wildest white places ever.
Yeah.
Because that everybody want to do this with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's they created a second version of LAX. And then MLW made that Team 5150. So there's technically 3 different versions of LAX running around. So I think LAX as a whole is just me, Homicide, and Conan are definitely deserving of, at least for how much impact we did for the Hispanic culture.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm saying you're the first actual cool wrestlers that are I wouldn't even say Hispanic, but they're minority. First cool wrestlers that were minority.
That weren't a joke.
That weren't a joke. Yeah, exactly.
Or cartoons, made into cartoons. That's I remember when I don't know if you remember watching when we did the angle where we're going to burn the American flag.
Yeah.
They had the Orlando police chief come and try to shut the show down because he thought it was real.
Yeah.
Well, it was real to my dad because my dad was a Green Beret for 30 years. And he called me up that night and said, "Son, I will never watch you on television again." So then it shows you how much that we had it going on, man. When you have the police chief of Orlando, not some little town, but Orlando, one of the biggest tourist capitals of the world. Hey, we're shutting the show down. My dad, Vietnam veteran, called me up saying, "Hey, I can never watch you wrestle." So, I mean, it shows how much impact that we had.
Yeah. You did 2 stints in Lucha Underground. Did you have a good experience there? Because it's different, because it's more of a movie, more of a Hollywood type instead of.
Oh, legally, I'll talk about the parts I can.
Okay.
Because yes, I don't know how long those NDA thing lasts.
Okay.
But one day the truth's gonna come out, and you guys will be shocked.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I mean, we were treated like movie stars.
Yeah.
We showed up. Hey, how many days are you here for? I'm here for 3 or 4 days. Oh, I'm here for 3 days. So they give you like $100 a day just to throw on money. Take the hotel. The mini bar is on them. So you already know what's happening. So then they pick you up and they take you to the building, and then there's like catering, it's like a movie set.
Yeah.
So there's catering there, like craft stuff, and then here comes breakfast. Breakfast is over, then here comes more craft. Then craft's over, then here comes lunch. Then lunch is over, here comes craft again.
And
dinner. I go, why can't you guys do this every month? That's what it takes for 4 months, for only 4 months at a time. Why can't you take that year round? You wrestle. As soon as your match is over, you go to wardrobe. You give the lady your wardrobe clothes, and they dry clean it for you for the next day. Brother, I'm good.
Yeah. Instead of having the same gear for 2-3 weeks at a time, right?
Bro, and no, they make your gear.
Yeah.
They made the gear. They had a gear maker on site. Those boots, that little corny
Yeah, the best thing you had on. Yeah.
They made that. You just show up. That's all you just show. Just like a movie, you just show up. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, the stuff still holds up too, and I still post it because there's vignettes, the way they shot everything. You just like you said, like a movie. That's what it came across as.
I just think that they did not capitalize on what they should have as far as having. You should start having house shows.
Yeah,
because once the filming was over, that 4 months was over. That series, that 13 episodes, whatever. Brother, you got people of all races want to see the next episode, and it's bad enough that you can't find. It's hard to find the channel as it is.
Yeah.
When the first year was on Unimas, and then it was on I forgot what that small channel was on. You barely could find it, and then they lost Unimas the next year.
Yeah.
Because you had to have that one specific channel for like $20 a month just for that channel on cable, or you could watch it for free on Saturdays on Unimas in Spanish.
Yeah,
that's how it got so famous. Because no one's gonna watch that little. You got to pay at the time $20 just to watch one channel. That's not. But because they were on Unimas on Saturday mornings, you could see the same thing. But it's in Spanish. It was awesome.
Yeah, because it ended up being the El Rey network towards the end. I don't even know what the hell that even. Yeah. I don't even know where they even find that at.
Yep.
But you think them being a movie production like that, that's probably what hurt them in the long run, right? Because how do you go on the road if you're stuck with all these unions and like only one guy can move the chair or only one guy can hold the sound thing? Like it's got to be hard to coordinate all that. It's got to be super expensive going on the road.
I think they had the max of 2 house shows. One was South by Southwest here in Austin, and I think they had one in Arizona or New Mexico. It was definitely, either they didn't think it was going to take off as well as it did, or they didn't know how to capitalize on making it a tour.
Yeah. They were big too for a while.
They were, brother, it was that first year was awesome. The second year was okay, and then the last 3 years sucked. Or last 2 years sucked.
Throughout your whole career, what's your best match, you think?
I guess Daniels and AJ in the cage with Homicide. We won the belts in Detroit. That match really stands out. And I would say matches like different moments in my career, I guess. Like the 2010, I was in AAA. They wanted me to jump off the top of the cage and splash, but they couldn't get the truss undone fast enough. So can you jump off the truss instead?
Yeah.
And like a dumbass, I said, yeah, I can do that. And then I was climbing up there, and I remember getting to the top of the truss, and I'm staying there. I go 1,001, 1,002, and I'm like, man, I'm literally praying for the lights to go out so I could just climb down because I didn't know what was going to happen. And it turned to be a beautiful move. I mean, it's on YouTube, and it's like at one time it was like 300,000 people views, but that moment was huge. But I guess different moments like when the TNA belts was the NWA TNA belts.
Mm-hmm.
We were the first Latinos ever to win those tag belts. So that I had probably more big moments than like matches, I would think.
Okay.
Being in the ring with Kurt Angle anytime, that was awesome. Being in the ring with Sting was a dream. I mean, he was so cool with me. Hey, man, we got to get you over. Whatever you want to do, let's go. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we watching Sting, Surfer Sting, and let me
Yeah.
do it. Fucking king that day, man. It was awesome.
Yeah. When you're having that match with AJ Styles in the cage, do you know while you're having it that it was going to be awesome, or is it after the fact that you kind of look back and like, damn, that was amazing? Like, do you know when it's happening? Like, oh, we're killing it right now.
No, I mean, you can feel the pace going really well, really well. I think when they decided that they had to have me go jump off the cage and and go through the table, that's when I realized, hey, it's good.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm just still, remember, I'm telling you, I'm just listening because I don't want to screw up and lose this job and go back to $8 an hour. So I did whatever they told me to do. They give you the pop, the crowd gives you the pops for certain things. But, I can take credit for it because it was my move. But let's be realistic, how much I was the architect of that match. So props to him for putting us all in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah. You're now you're head coach at San Antonio Star Wrestling. How'd you get into that?
I don't know. I just didn't know what I want to do in my life next. And people were asking me hey, can you train my kid? Can you train my kid? And all three of my kids I've trained somewhat so they all know the basics. And I had one of my kids be in my match one time on an indie show. And I like training people that are respectful, that want to listen. And it's been a dream, man. I love it. These guys work so hard. They're, like we talked about this earlier, the new generation, like 30 and under, they have a different concept of how life is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And once I try to push them to reality a lot.
Yeah.
Man, it's so rewarding because every month we have a student show at the end of the month, every Thursday. And to see contrast of how I was treated as a child and how I was coached to how they respond to this. So, when I was, high school and football and wrestling, even in pro wrestling, they treated me, the coaches treat you bad. So I'm just dumbing that down to like 10% level of how I got treated.
Yeah.
And to see these kids respond and the crowds go, ooh, I'm like, yeah, bitch, I told you. And it's such a blessing. I mean, last Thursday we had a school show for this month, and man, it was standing room only there. We only could hold probably about 130 people. We ran out of chairs, so it's really good. These guys get a good experience. We run with AWR. We run about 40 shows a year from Austin to San Antonio. So that's something for them to work on to go in front of bigger crowds. And they killed it. I have nothing but great things to say about these kids.
Is there something you tell them off, like first piece of advice you tell all your students off day one?
I have Q&A every day.
Okay.
One thing I learned from my coaches, whether it's football, weightlifting, or wrestling, you cannot tell your students just the positive stuff about your life. You have to tell them your failures as well. In wrestling, you have to tell them your failures so they understand.
Yeah. Because
every one of these kids think all they have to do is do exactly what the coach says and watch the best of Hernandez, and they're going to be on TV. And that's not how life works. So I want to show them how many times, and I've told them how many times, hey, maybe I should have shut the hell up that time, and maybe I've been on TV faster. Or maybe, like you said earlier, maybe if I would have had a stronger mindset, I would have went the WWE route. Or maybe I've been lazier, but look for longevity and stay in AAA.
Mm-hmm.
I like all the styles. I wouldn't do them all.
Yeah.
But I think as a coach, it's the number one thing you have to do is be prepared to tell them your successes and your success stories, but you have to be able to man up and say your failures as well, so they don't feel like a failure when they're training with you.
Absolutely. I think you learn more from people's mistakes than you do from their all the good things they've done.
Well, you haven't been in one of my training sessions. these guys, I don't know. My guy, I joke with them, but man, yeah, they're a good bunch of kids. I have 2 kids. They're just turned 21. They're a tag team. They're called the 210 Boys. These guys are about 6'2", about 190 each. Athletic ability off the charts. Connects with the crowd very easy, man. I'm really pushing these guys to within 6 months to get them looks at a bigger place.
Okay.
Because they have it. And I have another kid. This kid's 14 or 15. 14. He's 14. Before you say anything, this kid is awesome. He's 9th grade. He's a parkour kind of kid that does
jumping on stuff.
Yeah, he can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Problem is, and he gets it. The problem is he has a 30-year-old wrestling mind and a 14-year-old body.
Yeah.
And he's 5'2", like 100 pounds. Man, he can go. He can do all this stuff. I mean, if you guys go to my San Antonio Star Wrestling Facebook page, I have a small video of me with him. There's over 300,000 views of him doing like a 10-second spot with me. And then I have another video with like over 3 million views, me just standing on the outside and these guys trying to do a suicide dive through the rope for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And I'm just catching them, boom, catching them. These kids got it, this generation needs to realize about real life first.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's see. April 5th, you're in Sacramento, California for Total Wrestling Feds Romania. That's not Romania. 22. Sacktown Street Fight against Daniel Torch. You guys aren't strangers together, right? You faced him a couple times.
Yes, sir. This kid is. I don't know how he keeps coming back. He like a rubber band. He's probably about 5'10", like 175 pounds.
Yeah.
And I've thrown him everywhere I could. I board tossed him outside. I gave him a pounce to where he went. I mean, he went out of the ring, and this kid keeps fighting back. And now I think it's a street fight, so we'll see what happens. The kid has heart, but I mean, I'm still Supermex.
Yeah, he's gonna try to hit you with something too. Watch.
Well, I'm sure that's happening. I'm sure that's happening. Then that TWF show was really cool. They're like a movie theater, like a bigger movie theater.
Yeah.
With the movie theater seats, it looks awesome in there. And I mean, if you're in Northern California, that's a place to check out. They run shows monthly, and I'll take a day off from the 6th, and then I will train the guys for like 3 days at the 219 Dragon's Den with Matt Freeman. That's his group, and those guys are killing it. They have this new kid, Big Zeke. He's part of the Fatu family. He just started training, like he's been in it about a year. He's about 6'2", 6'3", about 280, 300 pounds, doing dives and flips already, just like Jacob.
Yeah.
And this guy has a boxing background, so look out! Don't try to swing on him.
Yeah. That's April 7th through the 9th in Lodi, California. $40 for all 3 classes. If you're out in that area, you'd be stupid not to take advantage of that.
Most definitely. Those guys also can show you grappling as well. Those guys that run that building, they came from the Nick Diaz
okay.
Diaz school of grappling.
Okay.
Then had my school show on the 24th. And then we got Planet K here in San Antonio, downtown Planet K Central. It's one of those smoke shops. There's 22 locations from San Antonio to Austin.
Okay.
You will have a great time, I promise.
That's April 26th.
Yes, sir.
All right. Before I let you go, I got a couple names here. Say whatever you want to say, nothing at all. Jim Cornette.
The man.
The man. What about Vince Russo?
In the way, and he's the. I mean, they both, have their good points and bad points. For Vince, people talk bad about him, man. But when we were on TNA, he made sure the guy who never gets no TV time to the mid card guys got on TV, even if it was for a vignette or a 10-man match. So anyone, Vince took care of the whole roster. Now, if you want to cry because, I didn't be in the main event or I didn't get to be the heavyweight champion, okay, that's debatable.
Yeah.
But Vince took care of the whole roster.
Yeah. So everyone had a story. Everyone had a story.
Most definitely. So anyone who says they hate Vince Russo is probably saying they hate Vince Russo because he didn't let him be the champ.
That's usually what they're mad about, anyways. Matt Morgan, who's like a representative in Florida or something, right? Isn't he a politician now, right?
I think he's a mayor in
Winter Springs. I've seen his posters somewhere down here in Florida because I live here in Central Florida.
We did not mesh well. We got along well. We didn't mesh well in the ring because we had similar styles, so it did not work out. You're not dumb. You saw those matches.
Yeah. Dixie Carter.
Good, bad, ugly. My number one supporter at the time. She saw something in me in 07 to where she was, and she already had in her mind that she was pushing me to be a top singles guy in 07. Mm-hmm. And so I have nothing bad to say about that.
Guy you did some stuff with in Lucha Underground, Ricochet.
Man, that's a younger version of AJ Styles. He can do everything AJ did back when I was there, and then some. I'm like, phenomenal athlete.
What about Sting?
The man, bro. He's the man. This guy, I'm wrestling him. I had to wrestle him twice, and that's the time they were putting me in a singles push. And the guys said, "Hey, this kid has it. You got to let me lose to him." And no, we can't do that. So I got to beat him by DQ 2 times. Yeah. And I mean, for a legend to look at the office and look at me as well, me standing right there and said, "Hey, you have to let this kid go over." I mean,
yeah.
What else can you say? I mean,
yeah, no, nothing at all. That's dope of him. Eric Bischoff.
I had very little interaction with him.
Okay. Zelina Vega.
Okay. Who is Rosita? She was
Rosita.
Watching this kid, 19, 20 years old, said, "Man, she's gonna be a somebody." This someone that takes their time, and she lucked out at the time. She was very quiet, very shy, but listened to exactly what things were going on. And man, look what happened now.
Yeah, because you when I start thinking about it, it's like that was a long time, like 15 years ago, where she was in TNA. And it figured like that's a long ass time ago.
I think she was maybe 20, if that. And I think even younger. I mean, she looked like 15. I mean, she was so sweet and such a nice kid, and very respectful and wanted to learn all aspects of the business. So, man, great on her. I'm super happy for her.
Yeah. And then Jeff Jarrett.
Without Jeff, there's no TNA.
Yep. All right, before I let you go, last question. What's something you know now that you wish you knew when you first started?
Shut the fuck up. Oh, the coaches always tell you, keep your mouth shut and your eyes and ears open, and that's the absolute truth. If you are training, if you have less than 5 years in this business, you have to STFU, or people are just guys like me, guys that who are where you want to be at, are not going to help you. They were not going to. We are not, guys who've already made it are not obligated to help you. They don't owe you. They don't owe you nothing to help you.
Yeah.
And that's what I think this generation coming up is. They think that just because I was there, I'm obligated to help you. No, bro, I'm not obligated to do nothing. Like I was telling you earlier, if I were to listen to mentors in 2000, maybe I would have been in WWE. Maybe I would have started in TNA earlier, or went to Mexico earlier, or something like that. It took me, everyone wanted to use me because I was this big guy doing these stupid dives and throwing people around, but I still couldn't put it all together for a TV style match. That's why it took me 6 years to be a full-time guy.
Yeah.
I tell everyone, my students, same thing. Go, guys, don't ever think you know it all. Guys, so I started training in 97. My first match is in 98. 12 years before till 2010, I finally realized, hey, you know what? I can wrestle with anyone and not be scared.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. It took me 12. It takes some guys less, but don't ever think after 3, 4, 5 years, it's happening. It's not going to happen. Wrestling is like a trade school. You're not going to be a master electrician or a master plumber in 2 or 3 years. And just be humble. Guess what? Once you make it, then you can be the jerk you want to be. At least make it first.
Yeah. No, the day you stop learning is the day you stop getting better. So
I'm 52 and I'm still learning every day in this wrestling.
Yeah. Where can the folks find you at?
Well, don't find me here, but social media is I'm in San Antonio. I'm in San Antonio Style Wrestling. I'm at the school Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I wrestle with AWR all the time. You go to AWR Facebook page. We have 40 shows this year. On Twitter, it's Supermex CTM. Facebook, it's Sean Hernandez, I think. And Instagram is LAX Hernandez. I know that one. And then the school, San Antonio Style Wrestling on Facebook, 210 Style Wrestling on Instagram.
I'll put all the links down there for you, so they can go find you. And then it's man, there it is, business cards, old school. Really appreciate you coming on, taking the time, man. I really appreciate, really grateful. Thank you, really.
Thank you for having me, brother. You're the greatest, bro.
Absolutely. You guys have a good night. Go check him out. All the links be down there. Like and subscribe to all his stuff. You guys have a good night.